Pause Pod. My name is Kimberly Dedyne, founder of Pure Chemistry, where we are the missing element to your restful aromatic experience. I am here to help you press pause, breathe deep, and reclaim the rhythm of rest designed for you. Here in the Pause Pod, we make rest a requirement. You can't get out of it, okay? Because God told us to say, we need to help people rest. So if we can't get out of it, you can't get out of it. Okay. So in the world that glorifies the grind, we're shifting the narrative over here. Okay. Because true success starts with stillness. Be still and know. Through real conversations, intentional reflection, and the power of sense and habit formation, we'll explore how to integrate rest into your daily life without guilt. Okay. So, y'all get ready. Light your favorite Pure Chemistry candle. Get cozy, get comfy, and let's embrace the pause because your next breakthrough starts with rest. Okay. So, listen, we came together today. We wanted to have an interesting conversation. We wanted to talk about resting in our identity, right? Our resting in our authenticity. And so it was only one name. It was only one name that came up for me. It was only one name that God placed on my heart to have this conversation with. And she is such a special person to me. We met, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and she's she can't get rid of me. I'm not ever going anywhere. So I hope that she feels the same way. I feel like she does. But I'm gonna let my girl introduce herself. Regina, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Regina Oertle, CEO of the Salty Remnant, and we put out apparel, scripture based, for those that don't just want to walk around knowing the word, but they want to be bold wearing it too, and affirmations to speak over yourself and encourage people to speak over themselves too, to stand bold in faith. And so, yeah, that's us.
Look, and she got some good stuff too, y'all. I should have worn my shirt today, one of my favorite shirts. But let them know, hit them with the website again, just in case they come across, they need to go ahead and check it out. What's the website?
You can find us at thesaltyremnant.com.
Yes, that's a saltyremnant.com. It'll be down below. Make sure you go and check out her merchandise so you can be bold and bad and blessed, wearing the word right here over your heart, right up in here, right all up in here, and the hats and everything else that she has coming out. Don't listen, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in with her, follow her, get connected with her, and stay connected. Regina is somebody you want to stay connected to. Okay. So Regina, like I was saying, we met like 4 or 5 years ago. It was around pandemic-ish, right? And I don't even remember how we kind of got connected, but it's just like we're here now, 4 or 5 years later, and we have been in some interesting scenarios together where we were learning different things together. And it seems like it wasn't intentional, but we ended up in the same spaces at the same time. Like every single shift, it was like, oh shoot, Regina here. Yes, I love it. And so I feel like even though I have yet to meet you in person, but I feel like I've adopted you as one of my sisters, to where I'm like, that's my sister. If anybody say anything to her wrong, I'm gonna have to fight. I don't know how to fight, but I'm gonna have to fight because that is my sister. So I think one thing that we often, if I look at all those different environments that we were in, a lot of things that we talked about ended up being about identity and being authentic in ourselves. And I'm gonna let you tell your story, but I know when it comes to me, I was comfortable with myself, but at some point I fell off and started hiding in the background. And I'm like, get somebody else to do it. Like I'll be the supporting role back here, doing everything I need to do in the background. I don't need nobody to really know who I am or what my face looks like. You might hear my voice and be like, I think that's Kim, but you don't really know who I am or what I look like, I was cool with that, right? Until God was like, guess what? It's time to emerge. And I want you to teach my people how to rest. And I'm like, now, no, you didn't use my love of butterflies against me. And you're telling me that I have to leave the background and be pushed forward. I don't need that. I don't want that. But here we are. And I feel like both of us have experienced that in some type of way. And so it really led me to sit and think about, okay, when I come out here and I show up in these streets, who am I showing up as? I don't want to show up as anybody else. But it also made me sit and dig deep and really sit with myself and say, hey, you by yourself alone is enough. Me being me, authentically who I am. I laugh with my mouth open. You see all my teeth nearly all the time. Like me and my full self is just enough. And so that's why I was like, oh, who can I get to have this conversation? And God was like, Regina. I was like, bet that's completely correct and accurate, because I feel like we had conversations prior to this moment where it was some things about talking about us accepting our authenticity and being okay with who God made us to be. And so give us your perspective on resting in your identity. Like, what's your story in regards to that?
So, how he used the butterflies against you. One thing that I had just felt so much discomfort over was speaking. And it came from feeling like I was never seen and never heard. And so after feeling that, like I grew up with so much rejection. I was one of those kids that had a lot of bullies. Adults loved me, say, "Oh, you're so cute, you're so sweet," and the things they'd compliment me for. Little kids would like uh, pick at me over. But um, as I grew up and adult, I was still encountering some of those things. And so the Lord met me in my living room in my rocking chair, and I I felt like I was meeting him for the first time. I had been walking as a Christian for some years, but I felt like that was the first time I was truly getting to know him. And it was surprising me. I As I'm learning more about him, he's showing me more about myself. And so I would think back to different situations where I would become overwhelmed to the point where I'd be in public, like trying to be like perfect what I feel like everybody else wanted from me, and it would get so overwhelming that I would just have to cry. So all I knew how to do was just cry, and so I I went through this period of just as I was learning more about him and myself, that that feeling that I had to overperform and do all these things were still there. It was coming up with God, and he wasn't asking me to do all these things. Like, just come with me, come away with me. And I did not know that I was one of those people that just couldn't sit down. I'd sit down and just jump back up. What can I do now? And so the burnout was real. I was trying to overcompensate with my kids, marriage, friendships, ministries, and just feeling so much burnout. So, as I'm learning to just go away somewhere and sit quietly with the Lord, it was really in those private, intimate moments with Him, it was showing me how to just rest and what it really means. And so, I, for the most part, stopped feeling like I had to make all these checklists. And I just realized, like, you know what? No matter how many hats I wear, the number one thing is I'm his daughter. And the knowledge of that changed the whole game for me. So, yeah, my identity, learning who I am with him, first off, just his daughter, like, I don't have to do anything for that love. He freely gave me that love. I didn't have to work for it, nothing. It was just there for me. And so I didn't know that love all these years, even claiming to know him all those years. So that was new for me. And out of that love for him and knowledge that I'm his and he calls me his, I, yeah, that was everything. So that's when I began to walk into places and just breathe. Just breathe and just be happy to be there in the moment, in the place, not feeling like, what do I have to do? And so, yeah.
See, and that's the key thing right there, where you said we don't have to do anything for him to love us. He just does. And I think that is something that's often missed, to where we feel like we have to, because sometimes that rejection sets in and we feel like we have to overperform to get regular people's attention, that we feel like we have to do the same thing with God and start doing all these different things. Oh, I got to pray for an hour. Oh, I got to fast for 40 days and 40 nights. Like, I got to turn around 3 times and anoint my head and my body with, like, what? I like and sometimes I feel like God will look down at us and be like, what are they doing? Like, why do they think that they have to do all these things to overperform to get my attention? Don't y'all know I see you? I see you. I'm looking at you. I see you. Stop turning around. Stop thinking that you have to do all these things to check out the list in order for you to be close to me or be connected to me. And I think it breaks my heart when I think about that, because it's like, who told that's I feel like God is like, who told you that? Makes me think of my friend, my girl Anika. She always used to say, who told you that? Who told you that? Who told you you had to go and overachieve and overperform? Who told you you had to check off all these different things on this list? It's insane. And I feel like, and you tell me if you feel this way too, like when you have that revelation, it's like, dang, I wasted so much time trying to go through and do all these different things. And I could just be sitting here chilling and God still loved me. And I could get close to him and I could go to my secret place and we can spend time journaling or spend time walking outside. Like, I think that's a common misconception, that people think that we have to do all these different things to have a relationship with God, and that's not it at all.
That relationship is no different than that person that's so dear to you that you love. You don't overcomplicate it. Like, it's those simple things that you love doing with that person. So it's the same with God, those simple things, those walks, those talks, those, yeah.
Woo! Okay. See, you got me going now. So, what are some simple things that you enjoy doing, right? That you enjoy doing them with God? Like, you added God into the equation after you got away from all of the rejection and everything else. What are some simple things that you like to do?
So I some of this felt like silly before, and I didn't know I could do that. I enjoy drawing and artistic things, and as an adult, whipping out a coloring book, I thought, that sounds a little silly, but now they have marketing everywhere, adult coloring books. So I love to just have moments where I'm just doodling or whatever, and I found that, hey, like, this is a setup sometimes. Like, he's starting to speak with me and I'm actually listening. I'm not doing anything else, but just focusing on that. And so I love walks. I love walking. I feel like, uh, I guess in my mind, I'm going somewhere new. Even though some place just looks like a stroll in my mind, I'm going somewhere new. And I feel like I can take him with me on those little chats. Those moments I don't feel confined. I even have my children with me going on these walks. I Something I didn't do before until I met you was I would start lighting my candles and I'd put on some worship instrumentals in the background and I'd sit with my journal. And so I love doing that as well. And so it's really, you could just do anything and include him in it, invite him in. Sometimes I'll say, like, Lord, I'm doing this. Like, come away with me. He tells me to come away with him. I tell him, come away with me. Just invite him into it. And so, yeah.
And it's really that simple. It's really that simple to say, God, just I'm about to go for a drive. Just be with me here in this car. Like I know you are, but I need you to be and sit here with me. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. I think we forget that we can just simply say, God, I need you to be with me. Holy Spirit, roll with me. Cause I just need you to be here with me so I can go and do the things that you've been telling me to do. I hate the fact that people overcomplicate that. I really do. But so that brings me then to my next question that I was thinking about that um you deal with certain things for so long that it trains your mind and your brain to think like this for so long, and then you have this revelation, right? You have this revelation of how your relationship with God actually comes with simplicity. Like it doesn't come with over complications. And so at what point, like what was the turning point for you when you realized that you can rest in your God-given identity and who you are and rest in your relationship you have with him instead of trying to prove who you are, instead of trying to prove who you are and prove yourself to others.
Yeah, that's my notification to drink my water.
Oh, pause for the water.
um, I I started noticing people around me that were just basket cases. And
Let's be real. Yes.
on the outside looking in, I'm like, it should be a lot more simpler than that. And I started thinking about myself like, oh man. And I did not realize that he was taking me out of that place until I'm looking around. And it was this message of, I read in the word before where Jesus was saying what my father says. I speak what my father speaks, and he does the things his father does. And I heard somebody preaching that message, and it just hit me differently. Like, I can open my mouth and say the same things my father says. And because it became, my relationship was becoming more intimate, I started just seeing those examples that he gave me in a different way, like seeing myself in them. And I felt like at that point I was on my last my last bit of energy, my last bit of just whatever. And he just kept filling me with so much hope. And the weirdest thing would happen, like everywhere I would go, he was having just random people approach me and just speak loving words to me. But they were specific to like conversations I had with God that nobody else heard. And so it reminded me of an episode of The Chosen where I forgot who it was sitting outside the fig tree, but they were just looking out talking and just breaking down crying, and nobody was there in that conversation. And when they encountered Jesus, like he spoke over that conversation, and it it made that person realize like he sees me. He heard me, like he's real. And so he was becoming more and more real to me. And it was just out of that relationship with him, that love for him. I needed that, and I didn't realize until those moments that I wasn't really loving myself. And I'm saying the right words so people don't notice, but inside I felt like this internal mess. So it's mostly the thoughts, thinking thoughts that the Lord didn't tell me. And so when I started realizing a lot of the things that I was rehearsing and just believing about myself were lies, um, it made me want to pursue him more for his truth. And I didn't have to work hard at it. He was just throwing some things at me. And so yeah, it was in that. I needed that. I needed to hear those words and it be personal for me. I needed to really know like who he was. I really needed to know who I was. And so out of just learning more and more and more about me and getting out all those lies and stuff, it really was the things I was speaking to myself. Um, I felt like I could give myself a break. I didn't look to anyone else to give me permission to just be me or to just have I would really look for permission to feel peace and joy. And so him
Ooh.
letting me know like those things are, you get those. You get those with me. I gave myself permission to feel those things. And so I had to, I felt like I was giving him permission to uh, love me more, and all the things that he wanted to give me freely. I just I wasn't accepting it. I wasn't right up here. And so he was getting me together. And so all of that helped me to just breathe, like just be me. And I had to go through a period where I had to learn what does it mean to just be me. And I'm looking at other people like that whole comparison, like going to them like how do I be me? And so he's just taking me through that process. I fought it hard until I finally surrendered to it. And I hope I answered your question. I went
You did. No,
many
you
coming
absolutely
back.
did. You absolutely did. Look, I told you we were going to end up flowing because we were going into, listen, we're going in the direction we're supposed to go because you said two different things. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got to talk about that. Because you said, first of all, you said that you found yourself rehearsing all these negative things. And I'm like, why do we do that? We rehearse the negative so much, but when it comes to speaking the truth loud and proud, it we don't do that nearly as much as we rehearse all the negative things that people have that we picked up along the way. Like a lot of these behaviors that occur naturally in human behavior are things that we were taught and then we rehearse them and then they become fact in our head, but they might not necessarily be true. I'll say that again. They might be factual. It might be factual that I'm not speaking this over anyone, but I'm just giving an example. It might be fact that you have $0 in your bank account, but it's not the truth because what did God say? What did God tell you? What does his word say? What does his word promise you? So that might be fact that you might have $0 in your bank account. I had negative $0 in my bank account when God told me, hey, I want you to become an entrepreneur. I said, no. Do you know what that bank account looked like? That was a fact. But he said, but what did I tell you that was going to happen? And I was like, well, dang, let me shut up. Boop, shut up. Get yourself together, Kim. He said what he said. Go do what you need to do. So there's a difference between fact and truth. And we rehearse facts so much, but what is the truth? What is the truth of what God told us? What did God promise us? And that is something that is very difficult to unlearn. You rehearse things for so long it's difficult to unlearn. This makes me think about, okay, so I had journaling time last week, right? And um I had a conversation with my girl Amber. Shouts out to Amber. She's amazing. I gotta have Amber. Come on. But she gave me like this journal prompt, and I was like, okay, what do I need to address in my past? And I was like, God, I don't have anything. I don't think I have anything. And not to be, I'm not, no, I ain't got to explain myself. I didn't feel like I had anything at that moment to address because I have been going this last year. I've been going through so much digging and revealing and trying to uproot some things and try to kill those some of those facts that I've rehearsed so many times. And so I felt like at that particular moment, I was like, I don't think I have anything that I need to address. And then all of a sudden, I started thinking about my past um, places of employment. And it was specifically three occurrences or three specific places that I worked that got highlighted to me. And it was, he was showing me that at these particular places of employment is where I picked up negative things that I've rehearsed for so long up until last week. And it wasn't like I was actively rehearsing, but it was in my subconscious, replaying over and over and over to me to where I will have the instructions. I know what I needed to do. I was being obedient and prepping to go forward and emerge and come out the background. But when it came time for me to actually show up, I would hit a brick wall every time. So like I would start putting out content. I would start and it will come slowly, but it's just like every time I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. Let me get about 4 or 5 days in of executing, and it's just like it falls flat. And I'm like, God, what is wrong with me? Like I know I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to show up live. I'm not afraid to show my face on camera. I'm not afraid to display my voice. I'm not afraid. I wrote a book. I'm an author. I'm not afraid. But why is it that it's just not moving past a certain point? And he revealed to me that from these past positions, I've rehearsed the points of where I went into the position qualified. But when it came time for me to utilize my voice and the qualifications that I had, I got shut down every single time. Like even to one point, I
Mm-hmm.
got called into the manager's office and I got a, I don't want to say berating, but I got talked to, and it was a situation to where my coordinator was completely fine with what we had determined needed to happen as far as our patients was concerned. It was a behavioral health situation. I have a mental health background, a behavioral health background. I went to school for psychology, and so and I had just came from working at a psychiatric hospital as a mental health technician. And so I said, hey, this is what we need to do. This is the smartest thing to do. You don't go into a situation unknown with a new patient without safety measures or backup. And so my coordinator agreed. He was like, yeah, go ahead, take so and so with you, make sure you go. And so I went and did that. And then I came back and I found myself in the manager's office. And I said, wait a second, what is happening? And I said, my coordinator um, said he would have my back, and he was nowhere to be found until after I went back to my desk. And I'm sitting there angry, and I'm like, just don't cry because they're going to think that you're sad, but I'm crying. You know how you ever got to the point where you're so angry that all you can do is cry because you can't do anything else? It was one of those situations. And I'm like, you have no idea. I cannot karate chop you in your neck right now because I will probably be in jail. So all I can do is keep myself from crying right now. And so that was one of those bigger scenarios. But from then, when I got denied the knowledge and the experience I had to handle a situation, it kept showing up and making me stop, even though I have the knowledge, I have the information, and God qualified me, because he qualifies us to go forward. And even when God was like, I qualified you, what's the problem? I still couldn't move forward because I had rehearsed that stuff so long about me being wrong, even though I had the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom to make a call that I was asked to make a call for. And so those things, that is such a huge thing. I know that was like a long story to come back around, but I think those details were necessary because we don't realize that our past experiences that we don't address are rehearsed in our minds and in our subconscious. Even when we're not actively thinking about it, it's still rehearsed, and so it could cause us to um not complete something when God is calling us to complete something, and you have everything that you need to complete it. But if you don't address those lies or those things that potentially were facts and start rehearsing the truth, you can get stopped in your tracks. So you saying that just really took me like, whoa, okay, yeah, that is a real thing. Rehearsing negative thoughts, ideas, and everything. That's a real thing.
I love how you mentioned uprooting because while these things were going on, I didn't realize like this is what the Bible's talking about pulling down strongholds. And so I
Yeah,
started looking at myself as like, hey, I'm a warrior. And
you really got some muscles out here.
a lot of those things that we were rehearsing, it did come from other people's voices, things other people said, things that the enemy was saying and trying to pass it off as my voice, that jerk. But I realized like, yeah, it's not the Lord's truth. That's not what he was saying. And so I love you mentioned the work thing because that had a major part of it when you mentioned that negative zero in the bank account and he's calling you to be an entrepreneur. That that really shook things up um, for me. And didn't one thing I noticed that I actually didn't do was I didn't tell God like I don't know how to do this, and I didn't realize that I wasn't backing away from him. He had me facing fears, and he did it in a way where yeah, it's always a setup with him. I didn't realize that's what I
Always.
was doing. I have my journal and I'm like, okay, you said I can come to you with everything. So it was things as like building my website. Like I didn't know how to do that. And so I went to the pages of my journal and I'm writing out my conversation and questions to him, and it was crazy because right after citing that the end of my letter with my questions to him, I'm having these thoughts like, okay, go to this website. And he's taking me to where I can find the answers to my questions. And I'm like, wow, like that blew my mind. Like, I just asked this question and he's literally dropping the answers for me. So that kind of factored into me not feeling like I had to get overwhelmed with doing all this stuff. Like, I can just, it was that simple. And after a while, it being that simple started to kind of like play on my mind. Like, was that too good to be true? Did that really happen? So it wasn't a one time thing. Like, there's the, this whole journey of constantly going to him with the questions and him helping me form new questions for him. And so, like, as you're talking about resting in my identity, like, it wasn't just me wanting this. Like, I'm finding out he really wants this for us. Like that scripture of come away, all who are weary and heavy laden, whatever, reading different translations. I forgot what, but he he so wants that for us. And so like we have this God rooting for us. He really is a father and a friend. And so that takes so much pressure off. That takes so much of that burden off that I was putting on myself. And there's so many people out there that don't even know that basic truth that God really does love them. Even people that have been following him for years, I'm
Yes.
finding out they don't know that simple truth of like this whole relationship. Like he loves you, he's rooting for you. He's not waiting for you to mess up so he can say, "I knew you would disappoint me." Some- Sometimes like he's not doing that. So like we have these crazy thoughts we need to get out. But yeah,
Oh,
I I don't know. Those relationships that have hurt people, traumatized them, it's caused them to distort like who God really is and how he really feels. And so because they've distorted who he really is, they've kind of distorted who they really are in him.
ooh.
Um
Call it
um
out. Yes. Call it out. That's exactly it. Ugh. We're gonna let that rest for a minute because she just called that out and I need people to feel that. She said, Regina said that people have allowed the distortion of others people's voices to taint who God said that they are, which then in turn will distort how they show up because they're showing up as a false narrative of who they think God wants them to be. But that's not what God told you to do. God didn't tell you that you had to go and be in the pulpit of 1,000 people church and speak what he got to say. He could have said, I need you to start a YouTube page and have a conversation and put that out there. We out here doing too much. We end up doing too much. And it goes back to how you said your second thing that stuck out to me when you were talking before, and you said that had to you had to just receive his peace, receive his joy, instead of trying to work for it. You said, God said, I already gave it to you. You just got to receive it. And it made me think about John 14:27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. He already gave it to us. All we got to do is receive it. And so when you said that, I was like, this actually brought something to light for me because that specific verse, whenever I pray, generally you will hear me say we receive your peace because he already gave it to us. He already gave it to us. And so I'm inviting the peace that he already gave me. Oh, my father gave me peace. Let me get that then. Can I get that one off the shelf? What level? We're gonna go. Can I get that one? I received that one today. Whatever it is that you're gonna give me today, I received that because he already gave it to me. And so he already gave it to us. So that's usually when I pray. I always say we receive your peace because he already gave it to us. And I think that's another thing that sticks out to me, that when we get so worked up and we're trying to operate outside of who we actually are, and we get frustrated and we get burnt out because these things they're just not working. And sometimes we have to stop and realize maybe something isn't working because we're operating in a capacity that we weren't meant to operate from. We're trying to execute something that we don't have the grace for that particular thing. But if we go back and kick it with God and kick it in our secret place and see what he's really saying to get the true instructions and hear how we're supposed to carry them out as our authentic selves and not pick up something else from somebody, and go forward in who we are and rest in our identity that he gave us, rest in the identity that he gave Regina, rest in the identity that he gave Kim, it will work so much smoother. Like I absolutely can't, and I won't try to do what Regina does, And I would think that you would want to try and do the things that I do. And because listen, let me tell you, Regina is walking peace. She comes in and peace comes with her. I absolutely love that about you. You just show up and it's like, oh, peace is here. If anything try to get out of line, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it because Regina here and she carries the peace of God. So don't get rowdy. Don't get out of character.
That's how I feel about you with the joy and laughter. I feel like there's nothing in this relationship, this friendship with each other that I could do to mess this up because I didn't create this friendship. I felt like God placed it together. So
Exactly. Exactly. And so how you said it, we just have to receive those things that he already gave us. Like we
when you
really,
said that, his peace I leave with you, I was thinking of when Jesus was in the boat with his the disciples and the
yeah.
storm came and he's over there napping and they're over there getting afraid. Like, what's going on? And he gets up and speaks to the storm and lets the storm know, reminds the storm who he is. And he just speaks and he commands it. And I'm like, I can command peace. I can command my body to rest. I can command these things. And so, yeah, I needed to know that too. So
Oh, you better
I,
say that, friend. You better say that. Go ahead. I'm gonna drink some water. Go ahead. Ooh.
so yeah, learning. Like I said, I didn't know I was a warrior in him. He told me. I remember the Sunday kids Bible school, the story and the songs, a soldier in the Lord's army. But yeah, I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that at all. Like everybody else was a soldier, but he uh he gave us that, and he did it in such a way where I couldn't get overwhelmed and anxious or afraid because I didn't know he was doing it. So yeah, I speaking over our rest, speaking over ourselves, and every opportunity to do something, I'm learning is not always a good opportunity. And so uh, there was setups. Him teaching me that sometimes those counterfeit opportunities, those counterfeit blessings, those were factoring into not feeling at peace with things. And so I could even learning how to say no to some things. Like I don't have to answer every phone call. I don't have to answer every emergency. Like if it's an emergency, call 911. You don't always have to call me. Like learning how to do that factored into the rest as well. So he is so good. He's been so good to me. He's so good to us. I don't I don't look at things the same way. And oh, it reminded me when I was telling you about like bullies, I didn't go up to those bullies and face off. Just that learning who I was in him, my identity in him, I started treating myself differently and I noticed like the bullies they took care of themselves. Like
Yes.
people were treating me differently, like not knowing him and not knowing me. I was putting something off that was causing people to disrespect me and other things. And so now that I know who I am in him, it's like, watch out, you can't tell me nothing. But I yeah, I so
I know that's right. You better let them know. Don't play with her. Okay? You can't
it's
tell her
easy.
nothing.
I wore my hoodie that says, "For he who touches the apple of his eye, who touches you touches the apple of his eye." So that was a reminder me to like be not just to other people, be careful what you say about me or what you do to me. For myself, be careful what you say to yourself. You're the apple of his eye. So
Yes.
your time out
Speak.
speaking earlier. So yeah, that all factored in for me.
Yes. Speak kind to yourself because you talking to a child of God. You talking to God's friend. You're talking to God's daughter. You're talking to God's son. You gotta be careful. Don't put your mouth on his people. That includes yourself.
Yes.
You're gonna have some problems, and you don't want God smoke. You don't want that type of smoke. This is why just go on and rest, take your rest, receive the peace that he gives, receive the love, receive the joy that he gives, because it's protection. It's protection against all these things out here. Oh my God. This has been so dope. So Regina, is there anything that you would say as we kind of wrap up? Is there anything that you would say to someone that has had difficulty in resting in their identity, resting in who they are, resting in their authenticity? Is there any advice or any um, words of encouragement you can speak to them that might be struggling in resting in who they are?
No matter what you think or what you're feeling like is too big, is too much, God can take that. He can handle that too. It's not too big for him. It's not too much for him. Literally everything you need is found in him. Those big things, those big dreams. God is really speaking to his people. All these big ideas, and he's given people dreams and visions and all these things, and those undealt with feelings are making it feel impossible. But I feel like, hey, tap into that childlike faith. And if you feel like you're dry in that area, you just don't have it, give him that too. Give him everything. He changes everything. And I say, start there. Let that be step one. Just take it to him, no matter however way you want to do that. In a letter, in a conversation, going for a walk as well, and just talking it out. Sing a song, do a dance. I don't know, but just give it to him. You were never meant to carry those heavy feelings alone. And another thing, he puts emphasis in his word over not wanting us to be alone, that he sends community. I didn't have that community before, and he pieced together that community for me. That when I first met you, we kept meeting up in different places, but still part of the same groups community. And I really felt like I flourished in that because of those. Not even having to know personally every person, just being around like-minded people, or having the common denominator of where we're going. Um, there's no more forming bonds and relationships people based off of your fears or the troubles, but the common denominator is where you want to go with him, where he's taking you. And so he was building us all up together, and you go at your own pace. Like, God's not rushing you. um, He's not trying to place you somewhere you're not ready to be. He's the one saying, slow down and take it step by step with me, piece by piece. And I think of the Israelites as they're in the wilderness. No matter how many miracles he showed them and the enemies he freed them from, like one quiet moment and Moses away, they were just acting crazy and letting the negative thoughts come
Ooh.
in. Like he wasn't going to lead them through the wilderness to for them to die and that be it. Like, no, like the Lord is performing so many miracles and things behind your back that you don't even know about. So when you mentioned receive, just receive his peace, receive his love, and he gave you that he has this amazing plan for your life. And that's everyone I'm talking to, because he has an amazing plan for everyone. And we read in the scripture that, for I know the plans I have for you. And we feel comfort reading it, but then we get up and walk away like that was the end of it. Like, no, he wasn't just like sharing that little bit of knowledge with us. Like, there's more. And for some, this could have been a long journey. It feels like a long journey so far. But it doesn't matter how old you are, where you came from. Uh, it's not too late with him. And there's just so much in store. I'm excited. Each person I talk to, when I see someone who questions who they are and their purpose, I get excited because I'm like, I know how tricky the Lord was. With me and all these setups, like, this is gonna be awesome. You're in the right place. Like,
Yeah.
take that to the right person. Take it to your Lord and Savior. He's got it. He's got it all. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Start there. He will show you how to rest. And if you're somebody who is like me, that was overthinking everything, even like how to rest, he will show you that. He will cause situations to make it happen without you even noticing. And what feels like intense warfare sometimes, he'll bring you out of that, and you wondering like, why does it feel so peaceful all of a sudden? You don't have to fight everything. Like, these battles are his. He'll show you how to fight. And sometimes that weapon is just saying who you are in him. And so we over we overcomplicate things sometimes. So it's beautiful to be in that place where you don't have all the answers and you feel like you have nowhere to turn. It's beautiful because you got nowhere else to go. You can't run from him. He's right there. And if he was your last choice, that's still okay. Remember the guy on the cross? Just moments before stepping into eternity, he made it. And I felt like that was
Still.
divine too.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah, that's
last
pretty
choice
much
is
it.
still the best choice, right? Oh man, that is so good. And listen, if you can't get anything else, know that I feel safe in saying that me and Regina are both a testament to you can make it on the other side. If you're unsure of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing and how you're supposed to get there, being still, like she said, that is the best position to be in. I get excited too because I'm like, oh, he about to do something with them and I can't wait to see what happens. I get so excited because it's just like I remember being there. I remember being there, and I think I even walked through some things openly in those different spaces that me and you kept ending up in. And it's just a beautiful place to be, a beautiful place to be a blank canvas, but also knowing that just rest and be still so you can allow the creator, the artist, to paint on your canvas what's supposed to be there instead of trying to go and let me draw something here, let me color something in here. Let him do what he needs to do. Why are we trying to do all the work when the artist got it? The creator got it. God got it. This has been so dope. And it made me think about when you were talking, I was hearing the scripture, we are chosen. We're chosen people. And you even talked about the chosen, but we're chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. And that it, Peter, because people be getting weird. Well, where is that? First Peter 2:9. First Peter 2:9. But that's what I get from that scripture in this moment when I heard you talk is rest in your royalty because your identity is royalty. So rest in that. Rest in that. And everything else will fall into place. But be still and rest in your royalty. Oh, that's good, Regina. Can we get a t-shirt? I don't know. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
I I made that I made that hoodie for myself as a reminder. That's why
Really?
I'm
Are
laughing
you
over here.
serious?
I had to be reminded. I'm feeling like that oddball in the beginning, and the Lord. showing me how most of his children were oddballs. That's why they were unique. And so he, yeah, I had to go out and I had to make it was a sweatshirt actually. I had to make that sweatshirt and post it on there. And he said, "We're peculiar people." I'm like, "That's me." But he chose us.
That is so dope. Wow, I didn't even, I didn't even, wow.
It
Wow.
took years to be able to see myself that way. So I'm like, now that I got it, I'm going to plaster it everywhere.
Absolutely. See this. I'm gonna wear it over my heart. See this. I love that. Rest in your royalty. Dope. Top tier grade A. Listen, y'all. You catching this episode, you catch this replay. Make sure you hit up her website because she might. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if that one is on the website, but if God released her to put something like that up there, tap in. Like I said, stay connected because you don't want to miss out what God is doing with and through Regina. I'm so excited every time I talk to her, every time I see her stuff pop up on socials, and every time I hear her voice, it's just like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what God is going to do. Oh, nope. Never mind. I'm not going to do that to you. We'll talk off the recording. Because I was just like, oh, that would be an amazing idea. We'll talk off the recording. I'm not going to do that to you. I promise I won't. I'm not going to set you up like that. So, oh my God. So, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us here in the Pause Pod. We hope that you are able to walk away and take away with something about resting in your identity. We hope that there was something here that you can pick up and walk away with that will help you in your journey of resting in your identity. Give yourself grace. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's okay. That's okay. Let the time do its thing. Let God do his thing. But if I could say anything that I heard Regina say in her message to y'all, to us, was just be willing to receive. Be willing to receive so you can rest in your identity. Y'all, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, Regina, we might have to do this again and talk about something
Yeah,
else. This was so good.
definitely.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for having
joining.
me.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And let people know what your socials are. I'm gonna make sure I put them in the comments and stuff, but let people know what your socials are so they can follow you.
You can find me at the Salty Remnant everywhere. That's pretty much it. At the Salty Remnant everywhere. Google
Earlier. Oh, she said Google me. This is why I rocks with you. This is why I rock with you. Yes. Google her. That's it. That's all. Until next time, I love y'all. Y'all make sure y'all share, subscribe, come back and hang out with us for another episode of the Pause Pod here in the Chemically Balanced podcast section. I love y'all. Until next time, rest in your identity. Peace.